Want to learn more about your true nature? Check out the many interviews and short videos produced by our friends at ispirit.us. Like their page at facebook.com/ispirit.dotus and browse through their many posts and be inspired by the wonderful and positive messages about life that they share with their community. If you would like to study the works of Spiritism and delve deeper into this philosophy that will be guaranteed to enrich your life by teaching you about the greater life, check out EdiseiofAmerica.com. At EdiseiofAmerica.com you can find all of the seminal works of Spiritism written and compiled by Allan Kardec, translated from its original French to English, as well as other Spiritist works that serve to add to the immaterial treasure that is the Spiritist philosophy and doctrine. As one of our subscribers and followers, be sure to use promo code iSpirit_love to get 10% off from your next purchase and continue to support this beautiful work of dissemination. iSpirit_love to get 10% off from your next purchase. Thank you.
Item 42 says, another equally important point to consider is the fact that spirits are free. They communicate when they want, with whom they want, and when they are able because they have their occupations to attend to. I have just mentioned this. They are not at the beck and call of anyone, no matter who they are, and no one has the right to make them come against their will or make them reveal what they must keep silent about. When we call someone in our lives via cell phones, maybe they'll pick up, maybe they won't pick up. It depends on whether they're busy, on whether they're at work, or whether they're in their some religious activity, extracurricular activity, a physical activity, whatever it may be. They're only going to answer our call if they're available. And if they see who's calling, of course they have to see through the caller ID. Is it somebody that's important? Is it going to be a serious call? Who of us here picks up the call when we know it's going to be a number that we do not know, a private number, a 1-800 number, more than likely perhaps a telemarketer? No one is going to pick up that call. We're not simply available sitting around in front of the phone waiting for it to ring. So the same applies to the spirits. They're not simply waiting around for somebody to ring them and call them. No, they're busy with their own things, their own tasks, as I had mentioned already. So we have to always keep this in mind. We respect them, and yes, we can perhaps say a prayer and think about that particular individual. If there is some individual in mind who has discarnated and finds himself or herself or itself, the spirit, in the realm of the spiritual world, then we can perhaps attract them through that method, mentioning their names or just thinking about it. And through the affinity, they might pick up that call and come to talk to us or to manifest themselves for us, bringing us some sort of message. It's a very simple concept, and we have to always remember that everything in the greater life is nothing more than the pure origin of all the rudimentary and crude copies of what we have in this world. So everything on earth is a very, very shoddy expression being manifested in our current realm of existence when compared to what awaits us in the greater life. So everything here is a copy of the greater life, but a very rudimentary and archaic copy, if you will. And then continuing forward, item 43 reads, spirits are attracted out of affinity, similarity of tastes, and character, and the intention of whomever desires their presence. High-order spirits would no more attend a pointless meeting than a scholar would attend a meeting of thoughtless children. Plain common sense says it could not be otherwise. We've covered this already. If they sometimes attend such meetings, it is for the purpose of providing healthy counsel, combating vice, or trying to lead someone onto the right path. If they are not heeded, they withdraw. It is much like someone who goes to a rehabilitation clinic here on earth. We have a bunch of individuals who are in a sad state of affairs where they are addicted to some particular chemical, and they need to have that. and they just lose any sense of stability, inner stability and inner harmony, if they cannot obtain that particular high. So what happens is, in that environment where no one is really serious and they're all distracted and focusing on this thing while they go through withdrawals, somebody might come in, a counselor, a person with great intentions of a serious nature, to try and talk to them and talk them out of this very unnecessary behavior that's causing such damage to them. But yet they don't focus. They don't want to pay attention. They're still asking for that substance that they need to make themselves feel better, which is going to be a temporary result anyway. It's not going to be for life. So they're always going to be seeking a greater and greater high, as we all know how this works. But the example is here. And if the counselor is unsuccessful, and the treatment in that particular rehabilitation clinic is unsuccessful, those who are trying to help the individual, if the individual does not try to help him or herself, they're going to give up. They're going to quit, or they're going to say, well, we've tried all we can, and if you don't want to cooperate and help us, we're going to withdraw and let you go on with your life. We're going to free you from this establishment, let you go back to living with your family or whomever, and move on with your life and try the best that you can out there in the world. It's the same concept. As I had mentioned, everything in this life applies to the greater life. It's no different. And then item 45 says, the result of what we have stated so far is that in order to be worthwhile, every Spiritist meeting must be serious and reverential as the number one condition. Everything must occur respectfully, religiously, and honorably if its aim is to obtain the habitual concourse of good spirits. It must not be forgotten that if these same spirits were present at such meetings while incarnate, they would have been given the respect to which they are even more entitled after death. And I think that summarizes with a nice little bow tie this gift of this type of instruction that, although brief and although very superficial, gives us a nice synthesis of what these communications are like and how they are to be conducted. And one more item here in this section, which is item 48. I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. It says, some people have gotten a completely mistaken idea regarding evocations, to call upon a spirit. There are those who believe they involve bringing back the dead with the morbid appearance of the grave. The little we have already stated so far should be enough to correct this error. Only in novels, ghost stories, and plays are the discarnate dead seen to leave their graves dressed ridiculously in their burial shrouds and rattling their bones. Spiritism, which never performs miracles, has never produced anything of the sort and has never made a dead body come back to life. Once the body is in the grave, it is there forever. But the fluidic, intelligent spirit being does not remain there wrapped in its coarse envelope. It disengages from it at the moment of death, and once the separation occurs, it has nothing more in common with it. It is like discarding an old piece of garment. You have nothing more to do with it. You don't want it back. Why would you go back into an old, deplorable piece of clothing and continue to wear it? It makes no sense. And the same applies to the spirit. It's discarnate. It left the body. There is no way the body will come out of the grave and walk around in its completely tattered state. It does not happen that way. This is a thing of fiction. It is a thing of movies. It is not applicable in the reality of the spiritual realm. So it's entertaining. A lot of people enjoy it, like that series Walking Dead. But there are no such things. There are no zombies. There are no walking dead, because the spirit is not dead. As a matter of fact, I would submit and venture to say that we are more dead when we're incarnated than we are when we are discarnate. In our limited vision here on earth, we think we are dead when we leave the body. But in reality, that's when we really become alive. Because then we are free to be able to have all of our faculties once again, all of the memories of all of our successive existences of the past. We are able to see everything via the entirety of our manifestation, 360 degrees. We can hear everything. Of course, depending on our level of evolution, there is that to take into consideration, but nevertheless, we're no longer circumscribed to the agents of the senses in the body. We're no longer only limited to seeing with the eye. We're no longer only limited to hearing with the ear, talking with the mouth. We're free. We're truly living when we are out of the body. So in reality, it is life after life, not life after death. It's the greater life after the circumscribed, smaller life. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope it has elucidated you, because every time I read this, it does help me a lot, because it makes me reflect upon the reality of our lives. And it's always wonderful to read anything concerning the Spiritist doctrine, because it enriches the soul and it fills that existential void that so many of us have. So I encourage you to buy the book, read the chapter, learn more about it, and continue with your own study of the Spiritist doctrine. Thank you so much. May God bless each and every one of you, and may Jesus guide you all in your footsteps. Thank you so much.